All right. We're in. I'm gonna go a few quick ones, and then we are. All right. Alrighty. So, first of all, no imminent threat. Apparently, well, there's a whole bunch of things that goes into this topic. No imminent threats. U.S. counter-terror chief resigns over Iran war. Where is the Joseph Kent? There's a whole topic about how Trump was very much warned that if he would attack Iran, not only would he not succeed in what he wanted to do, but he also would just lead to a more hardline government forming. Even if that new government in Iran would have less of a grip over the country, it would still be a more hardline government. And I have to remind you, there was no clear evidence that Iran was actually close to getting a nuclear weapon. There was no evidence that Iran was even moving towards getting a nuclear weapon. There's a reason why the current war is called a war of choice. There's a reason why so many countries are now refusing to participate in it. There is a reason why Trump is now complaining and crying about the fact that NATO countries do not want to join and help Trump in his endeavors. And now we see people straight up quitting. Joe Kent. But we're seeing people quit over this whole thing. Joseph Kent. After much reflection, I have decided to resign my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center effective today. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby, which, unfortunately, this has been a trend that Israel has been exerting its influence, exerting its hegemony over the region, attacking all of its neighbors, and making the United States an accomplice in its goals. It has been an honor serving under POTUS and DNI Gabbard and leading the professionals at NCTC. May God bless America. And this is like the whole letter. This is a whole letter of resignation. And I think it's a reasonable thing to do. I think it's a reasonable move by a person that does not want to be a part of this farce. Again, there is a reason why this war is called a war of choice. And it is being waged by a president that has campaigned on no new wars. He keeps telling, if I were president, this would have not happened. If I were president, Ukraine never would have been invaded. That country would have never been invaded. This would have never started. And now he just blatantly invaded Iran. He just attacked Iran. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that anybody has ever trusted that Trump would be this Nobel Peace Prize president, that he would be the president of no new wars. He started a peace council, a whole peace. I don't know the official name is the peace. I don't even remember what the official name of this pathetic group is. The fact is that little Israel is part of this peace initiative that he started, and the United States, of course, is part of this initiative. And the peace, this little peace group, Putin is in it, Lukashenko is in it. He initiated a new war, right? The Peace Council has initiated a new war. It's just, it feels like parody. It feels like something that should be satire, but it's not. It is reality. The head of National Counterterrorism Center resigned on Tuesday, becoming the first and most senior member of US President Donald Trump's administration to resign over the war in Iran, saying Tehran posed no imminent threat to the United States. And that should be all that you need to just, that's enough to get the gist of the situation, of the very bad state of affairs that we're living in. How the United States is dismantling the world order established after World War II. It's doing more than that. It's just trying to dismantle any semblance of international law, international rules-based order, and replace it with might makes right. Might makes right. If we don't like a leader of a different country, we assassinate him, we just attack, we start wars left and right. Remember, I've been saying this for a while and people have not really noted. People have not taken note. People have not really noticed what I've noticed a long time ago. Trump has never been against invading other countries. As much as he said that he would be the president of no new wars, look at the way he criticized Russia for invading Ukraine. The criticism that Trump has always levied against Russia is not that he invaded Ukraine. No, it's that he was not able to end the war in a few days. He criticized Russia for not being able to end the war quickly. That was his main criticism. And now we're seeing this in action. We're seeing this just philosophy in action, that he is not really against attacking other countries. He's not against starting new wars. He is just very much pro attacking quickly and ending it quickly, which he is failing. He is failing to do so. So he was forced to ask Ukraine for help with anti-drone technology, even though later he backpedaled and said, oh, we don't need Zelensky, we don't need Ukraine. Yeah, of course he needs Ukraine, of course he needs Zelensky. And now he said that we don't need NATO, but actually he very much is begging NATO countries to join in and help him with Iran. And he says that he's very, very disappointed with the fact that no NATO countries are willing to join his vile crusade. And it is also very important to note that Trump places himself and the United States as something that's outside of NATO. We are asking NATO for help. We are asking NATO to help us here. He's not saying we are asking our allies within NATO to help us. No, he's saying we don't need NATO, but NATO should help us, as if the United States was already something separate. And also he said that he does not need the approval of Congress to take the United States out of NATO, which is completely not true. He said in a little interview that he can do it by himself, that he can just unplug the United States from NATO. He cannot do that. But let's go back to this. Joseph Kent. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. We already read that. Some experts have said an imminent threat would be required for the United States to launch a war under current law. Well, that's the thing. Trump does not care about law. Trump does not care about international law. And there is something to be said about the fact that without very strong enforcement mechanism, international law does not really mean much. If there is a powerful country like the United States that can just break it, and there is nobody that can just enforce the international law on Donald Trump, which is why he basically said, I don't need international law. The only limit to my actions is my personal morals, my moral compass, which should make us all afraid, because Donald Trump's personal moral compass is abhorrent. The White House did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence also did not immediately respond. Intelligence officials were caught off guard by the news. Kent is close with Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, who has kept a low profile since the Iran war began. I wonder why. Tulsi Gabbard has kept a low profile. Probably because this whole war is a shit show that is increasingly running out of control. It is increasingly slipping out of United States control. They were hoping to end it fast. They were hoping that they would not upset the markets with it. And the exact opposite has happened of what was in plans. The exact opposite has happened, especially when it comes to oil prices, which have skyrocketed, which is a giant support to Russia in their war effort against Ukraine, which is laughable because one of the arguments that Trump has used when asking NATO for help is, I am helping NATO with Ukraine, so now NATO should help me with this. And basically, Trump has been helping NATO with Ukraine by pressuring Ukraine, by lifting sanctions on Russia, by ending Putin's isolation on the international stage, by cutting all aid to Ukraine. Yeah, great. You're doing a great job helping NATO with Ukraine, Donald. Gabbard has not issued any public statements and has only appeared in public during the dignified transfer of American soldiers killed earlier this month during the conflict with Iran. So, what can I say apart from the fact that this whole shit show is just increasingly getting out of Trump's control? And as always with these things, it feels like before anything's gonna get better, things are gonna get much, much worse. Especially since Iran itself is showing no sign that it is willing to compromise. There is no sign of compromise when it comes to the side of Iran. Let me see. Oh, there you go. Let's actually read this in full, as I feel like this is actually pretty interesting. Sorry, is there a way to make this big? Yes, we can make this bigger. After much reflection, we already know this part, I support the values and foreign policies that you campaigned on in 2016, 2020, 2024, which you enacted in your first term. So he completely threw those out the window. No new wars president. Forget about it. Until June of 2025, you understood that the wars in the Middle East were a trap that robbed America of the precious lives of our patriots and depleted the wealth and prosperity of our nation. No, I don't think so. I think that whole line about him being a no new wars president was bullshit from the beginning. I think only naive people believed in it. In your first administration, you understood better than any modern president how to decisively apply military power without getting us drawn into never-ending wars. You demonstrated this by killing Qassam Soleimani and by defeating ISIS. Early in this administration, high-ranking Israeli officials and influential members of the American media deployed a misinformation campaign that wholly undermined your America First platform and sowed pro-war sentiments to encourage a war with Iran. This echo chamber was used to deceive you into believing that Iran posed an imminent threat to the United States. I'm not so sure if Trump is just... I'm actually not so sure. I think that there's a lot of complicity of Trump that is being taken away here. And that should you strike now, there was a clear path to a swift victory. Well, that was naive. That was just naive. This was a lie, and is the same tactic the Israelis used to draw us into the disastrous Iraq war that cost our nation the lives of thousands of our best men and women. We cannot make this mistake again. Too late. Too late. That ship has sailed. As a veteran who deployed to combat 11 times, and as a Gold Star husband who lost my beloved wife Shannon in a war manufactured by Israel, I cannot support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people, nor justifies the cost of American lives. I pray that you will reflect upon what we are doing in Iran and who we are doing it for. He will not. Trump does not reflect on things. Trump just doubles, triples, quadruples down. Trump rarely changes course. Trump will continue this until he is satisfied. And that means we're in it for the long haul. The time for bold action is now. You can reverse course and chart a new path for our nation, or you can allow us to slip further toward decline and chaos. Yeah, the US is going to slip further into decline and chaos. Thank you. You hold the cards. I love how ever since Trump has scolded Zelensky about having no cards, everybody's been using this card analogy. Ever since then, ever since the infamous meeting between Zelensky and Trump in the White House, when he said you have no cards, everybody has been talking about cards. Everybody has been talking in terms of holding cards. It was an honor to serve in your administration and to serve our great nation. Yeah, this is a clear sign that things are not going to plan. There's a clear sign of dissent within the administration, and that not everybody, clearly not everybody, is happy with this war. Clearly there are people that are thinking that this whole thing has been a horrible idea, and they are quitting. They're quitting over it. There's only one party that is clearly benefiting from this ill-advised war of choice, and that is Russia. Russia is the only place to which I can point to and say, yes, they are clearly winning because of this. Because Russia at the beginning of the year was in trouble. The oil prices were plummeting. Oil being the main source of income, the main source of funding Russia's war against Ukraine. Ever since the war with Iran has started, the oil prices have skyrocketed, and that just provides Russia with a big injection of funds to continue its war against Ukraine. I'm really not surprised by the fact that we are seeing people quit over this whole disaster of a war. And I feel like as time goes on, it'll only get worse. In fact, take a look at this. Oh. Where is it? Iran rejects de-escalation offers. Israel says it kills Iranian security chief. That should tell you everything that you need to know. Dubai, Jerusalem. Iran's security chief Ali Larijani was killed by Israel, the government confirmed on Tuesday, the most senior figure targeted since the US-Israeli war first day. While a senior Iranian official said Iran's new supreme leader rejected the de-escalation offers conveyed by intermediary countries, because that was actually also Trump's big hope, that he would just swoop in, bomb a bunch of stuff, demand a ceasefire, demand the holding of hostilities, and that the other side would just fold and say, okay, we give up, you can do whatever you want. You can have your little Venezuela 2.0 moment. Like, he expected it to go exactly like Venezuela did. Like, you would swoop in, bomb a bunch of different sites, end it, do a little do a little conference for the press saying this was the most amazing, the most precise operation since Venezuela. We're the greatest military in the world. I have done the greatest. I have ended the Iranian threat. I have done something that no president in the history of the universe has ever done before, or especially in the history of this country. But now he won't be able to say that. We don't even know how this whole mess will end. Trump has embarrassed himself. He has entered a war that he could not have predicted the outcome of, and now he is stuck. Hello, Emily, yes. And now he is stuck in this mess. Larijani was widely viewed as one of Iran's most powerful figures and a confidant of slain Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and his son and successor Mojtaba. The security chief had a reputation for pragmatic relations with other factions in the ruling system and foreign diplomats. And it is also, again, worth noting that the current Ayatollah, the one that was killed, was apparently pretty moderate. He was the moderate option. And again, Trump's advisors have warned him that if he attacks Iran, it will only lead to a more hardline administration to take over, to a more hardline leadership to take over. And he just ignored it. He just decided, screw it, let's attack. On a hunch, because he was made to believe that Iran's attack on the United States soil was imminent. His death was confirmed by Iran's Supreme National Security Council, which Larijani led as a secretary. Larijani's son and his deputy Alireza Bayat were also killed in Israel's attack on Monday night. The council said, the targeted killings came more than 3 weeks into the US-Israeli war on Iran, which has quickly become a regional conflict that shows no sign of de-escalation. The Gulf countries are not happy with this conflict, by the way. They are pressuring the US to end it quickly. Trump wishes he could end it quickly, but things have spun so out of control for him. US President Donald Trump has repeatedly castigated allied countries in recent days for their cool response to his request for military help to restore the passage of oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz, which is causing just the oil prices to go beyond plus ultra. Mojtaba Khamenei, Iran's new supreme leader, rejected proposals conveyed to Iran's foreign ministry for reducing tensions or ceasefire with the United States. Again, that was Trump's plan. A quick strike, a quick victory. We pressure Iran into a ceasefire, and then we get what we want. That did not happen, and the war is still ongoing. According to a senior Iranian official who asked not to be identified. Khamenei, attending his first foreign policy meeting since his appointment, said it was not the right time for peace until the United States and Israel are brought to their knees, accept defeat, and pay compensation, according to the officials. That's not going to happen. So this war is going to drag on. I can already tell that this whole mess is going to drag on. The official did not clarify whether the younger Khamenei, who has not yet appeared in photos or on TV since being named last week to replace his slain father, had attended the meeting in person or remotely. The Strait of Hormuz, a transit point for a fifth of the global oil trade, remains largely closed as Iran threatens to attack tankers linked to the US and Israel. Oil prices have soared, to the delight of Russia. Once again, I will remind. The US has given shifting rationales for joining Israel to attack Iran and struggled to explain the legal basis for starting a new war. Yet the president of No New Wars, the Board of Peace, that's the name of the group, the Board of Peace, has started a new war. Underscored by the Tuesday resignation of the head of the U.S. National Counterterrorism Center, Joseph Kent, we just talked about this. Kent wrote in his resignation letter to Trump that Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. Most U.S. allies in the North Atlantic Treaty Organization have told Trump they don't want to get involved in the conflict, Poland included. The Prime Minister of Poland has straight up said, "We are not sending troops." If Poland sent troops to fight against Iran, but it did not send troops to support Ukraine, I would have been so pissed off. He said on Tuesday, describing their position as a very foolish mistake. Because of the fact that we have had such military success, we no longer need or desire the NATO countries' assistance. We never did. That is Trump's modus operandi, it seems. First, he asks for help, and then he declares, "We don't need you. We don't need you, even though we were the ones to ask you for help." Trump wrote on social media, also singling out Japan, Australia, and South Korea. European Union Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas said in an interview that nobody was ready to risk their lives of their people in protecting the strait. Yeah, like this is a mess that the United States has started, and that is a mess that the United States needs to resolve. I think that's a perfectly reasonable stance by members of NATO. We have to find diplomatic ways to keep this open so that we don't have a food crisis, fertilizer crisis, energy crisis as well, Kallas said, which is this is such a horrible situation. I cannot believe that a lunatic like Trump was allowed to take office for the second time, but complaining about it now will do us no good. Let's just pray that he won't try to be president for the third time. Oil prices rose about 3% on Tuesday as Iran renewed its strikes on oil facilities in the United Arab Emirates and are up around 45% since the start of the war on February 28th. On my birthday, what a wonderful, wonderful time that Trump decided to attack Iran on my birthday. Raising concerns of a renewed spike in global inflation, the World Food Programme said tens of millions of people will face acute hunger if the war continues through June. I believe it will. I firmly believe that this war will continue through June. I am not an optimist. I believe that many people will, in fact, face that acute hunger. I'm sorry. If you were waiting for some positive news, you're not going to get them from me. Israel targets Iran's security officials. Leriani is the most senior figure killed by Israel and the US since the war's first day, when they killed the supreme leader, other members of his family, and other senior officials. Israel also killed another top official, Gholamreza Soleimani, who led the volunteer Basib militia, which plays a major role in domestic security. In a video posted on social media, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu pulled a small card out of his suit jacket pocket and said, "Today I erased 2 names on the punch card, and you see how many more to go on this batch." Actually, there's been rumors that Netanyahu was dead. I'm not going to be talking about this because I don't engage in rumors, but that's been the talk all over. Speculation on whether or not Benjamin Netanyahu himself was dead or alive. In Israel, air raid sirens sounded overnight Tuesday in the country's commercial hub, Tel Aviv, and surrounding cities. A man and a woman were killed in Ramat Gan near Tel Aviv after sustaining severe shrapnel injuries in an Iranian missile attack. The National Ambulance Service said, bringing the death toll in Israel from the war to at least 14. It was not immediately clear whether there had been a direct strike or if the debris had fallen from a missile interception. Iran has repeatedly targeted defense densely populated Tel Aviv, which hosts key military and security installations. It was not immediately clear what Iran had targeted in the latest strike. After the attack, Iranian state television reported that Tehran had targeted Tel Aviv with missiles carrying cluster munitions, in what is said was a retaliation for the assassination of Lariani. Cluster munitions dispersed into multiple smaller explosive mid-air, spreading over a wide area and making them more difficult to intercept. And the area of hitting is very large with cluster munitions. There's been a big controversy over the United States giving those munitions to Ukraine a few years back. There was a whole discussion on the whether or not it was ethical to provide Ukraine with such munitions, even though Russia on their side have been using it, I believe, since the early stages of the war. Iran has repeatedly used cluster munitions against Israel in the war. The latest attack underscored Iran's capacity to carry out long-range strikes despite more than 2 weeks of sustained US and Israeli bombardment. Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar earlier said Israel had in effect already won the war, but gave no indication of when the conflict might end, saying only that the campaign would continue until its objectives were achieved. Sounds like Russia, I'm not gonna lie. That sounds like what Putin says. Also, Trump said that the war was over. But then he was informed that his own cabinet said that it was not over. To which he awkwardly said, well, both things are true at the same time. It's over, but it's also just the beginning, which is a very Trump thing to say. More than 900 people have died since the Israel began attacks on Lebanon on March 2nd. Jesus Christ, I don't know my numbers. The Lebanese Health Ministry said on Tuesday, US-based Iran human rights group HRANA said on Monday that more than 3,000 people have been killed in the country. Iran has responded with wide-range attacks on its Gulf neighbors, which host US military bases. Gulf Arab states, including the UAE, have faced more than 2,000 missiles and drone attacks on U.S. diplomatic missions and military bases, as well as oil infrastructure, ports, airports, ships, and residential and commercial buildings. So as you can see, Iran is not willing to negotiate. Trump is stuck in a war that we have no way of knowing when it will end. There is no sign that oil prices will stabilize anytime soon. And it seems again that Russia is the biggest beneficiary of this war. So Trump, who has campaigned on being the president of new wars, he has said that if he were president, Russia would have never invaded Ukraine. But now he not only has completely destabilized the Middle East, he has also straight up bailed out Russia financially. He has bailed out Russia. Russia was in big trouble when it comes to finance, and just like that, Trump has provided Russia with a lifeline, with a financial important lifeline that it needed to continue the conflict. So Trump has made things much worse, not just domestically within the United States, with the tariff policy, with the anti-LGBT policy, and many other things. He has also made things considerably worse globally, especially with this war that he has started on February 28th. We will have to see how things develop, but again, I'm afraid I am not an optimist. I'm sorry to say. I am not very optimistic when it comes to I'm not very optimistic when it comes to things. Any questions from anybody that's watching now? Any questions when it comes to the topics regarding Iran? I feel like I have to cover this war a lot more. I have to pay a lot more attention now. Any questions? Any thoughts? Oh, Vladimir has been giving. Little Marco. Oh, I've been receiving links from Vladimir. Let me see. Let me check your links, Vladimir. Oh boy. Remember, this is the politics thing, so this just better not be memes. If it's memes, I'm gonna cut it short. Let me see.
Senator Mann, President Trump announced he's not ruling out restarting the military draft in order to further execute his war with Iran.
Ah, yes, he did say that.
Any thoughts?
Look, this is already an unlikely scenario because we're basically already winning this thing, 99% done. In fact, these lazy boat captains are going to start speeding through the Strait of Hormuz any second now, okay? And the president's practical. He's not taking any options off the table. And do you think during World War II, Ronald Reagan was telling folks to cower in their bunkers? No, we need some pride. We need some national spirit. Our boys should be excited to serve our oil interests. I mean, our country. They should be excited to liberate a country by bombing the shit out of them. I mean, we've been doing that for generations. It's in our blood. Would you encourage your own son to fight in this war? I'm sure he would love to, but he's currently exploring his bisexuality at NYU. Senator Thing, how do you feel about Trump's comments regarding the draft? As you know, this is an illegal and dangerous war that I have quite pointedly nicknamed Donnie's Little Dingleberry. I bet that pisses him off when he's tweeting on the toilet at 3 a.m.
Yes. Wait, are you opposed to the war? I'm very upset that he didn't ask us first. Decimating Iran should be based in rules and accountability. So you're opposed to the draft. I love how you're trying to pin me down so I'm accountable for my decisions. It's very charming. As you know, there is a crisis of male loneliness, and being drafted to serve our country could be a terrific bonding experience, not to mention the terror of being drafted would encourage so many boys to attend college. You're in favor of the draft? Again, with the accountability. Ask me in 5 to 10 years.
Okay, that was good. That was very good. Thank you. Thank you, Vladimir. That was actually very good. Oh, again with the accountability. Oh my God, yeah. Exactly.
Want to see something pathetic?
World dictator yesterday in an interview with the New York Times. How so? Well, I don't know about a dictator. I said a third world strongman. He's running for president, so no matter what, he won't be a dictator unless our republic completely crumbles, which I don't anticipate it will. But yeah, here's what happens in many countries around the world. You have a leader that emerges and basically says, don't put your faith in yourselves, don't put your faith in society, put your faith in me. I'm a strong leader, and I'm going to make things better all by myself. This is very typical. You see it in the third world. You see it a lot in Latin America for decades. It's basically the argument he's making that he single-handedly is going to turn the country around. We've never been that kind of country. We have a president. The president is an American citizen who serves for a period of time, constrained by the constitutions and the powers vested in that office.
Holy shit! This has not aged well.
The president works for the people, not the people for the president. And if you listen to the way he describes himself and what he's going to do, he's going to single-handedly do this and do that without regard for whether it's legal or not. Look, I think people are going to have to make up their mind. I can tell you this, no matter what happens in this election, for years to come, there are many people on the right, in the media, and voters at large that are going to be...
Thank you for these things, Vladimir. They are excellent.
...explain and justify how they fell into this trap of supporting Donald Trump, because this is not going to end well one way or the other.
No, it won't.
I watched that video when I downloaded it, and here I am watching it again, and it is still shocking to hear what he just said. That's not the pathetic part.
Thank you for your bold leadership. It's an honor to be able to serve in your administration. And Mr. President...
Oh my God. I love these pathetic bootlickers. Earlier, he was giving his honest thoughts on him. It's the same with J.D. Vance, by the way. Didn't J.D. Vance call him Hitler in the past? And now he's Trump's biggest brown noser. Like they are all like that. They are all like that. He used to criticize him in the past, and now they just kiss his ass nonstop.
2 points I want to make. The first is, we have a lot of allies around the world, and we are grateful for our allies. And the countries represented here today, all 12 of the leaders here are allies, but they're more than allies. They're friends. At a time when we have learned that oftentimes an ally, when you need them, maybe may not be there for you. These are countries that have been there for us, and these are leaders that are not just allies, they are friends, and they are always willing to work and cooperate with the United States, and we're grateful for you. And as you said, Mr. President, these are also countries with extraordinary potential. Some are fulfilling it, some are well on their way to fulfilling it, and this is important. We want to be a partner with you in that. We want the world to see that when you are a friend and an ally of the United States, it is a good thing. It's reciprocated. It comes back the other way as well. And so the fact the president is here today and making this a priority is so critical. If I may, because some of these cameras are covered in Spanish. You all right? Oh, good. Please. We don't need...
Is all right? Is it all right if I speak in Spanish? Like a fucking dog.
Oh my God.
Like a fucking dog. He turns around to his master and asks if it's okay if he speak in Spanish to the Spanish broadcasters that are in the crowd. You heard what he said in the first video from 2019.
Yeah, I did.
You heard. He said the president works for the people, not the other way around, that he can't be a dictator, because that's not what we do here.
Apparently, things have changed.
And he turns around like a dog. And by the way, turns around like a dog before then, too. He is addressing only the president. He's talking, and he keeps looking back at the president.
If he likes what he's saying, yeah.
Everything they ever do on camera is they're speaking to an audience of one. To the president. He couldn't even keep himself looking forward at the people that he was addressing.
Yeah, because
he was showing deference to the guy standing behind him.
Yeah, because he just wants to tell Trump what he wants to hear, of course. He's most interested in whether or not Trump likes what he hears from this guy. That's all. That's everything.
So he kept turning back like a fucking dog. He said the president works for the people, not the other way around. And here he is. And Mr. President, and like Mr. President said, and Mr. President, like a fucking dog. That's what's pathetic.
Too bad.
What has become of him? What has become of him? In 2019, he said the right things. And you can find footage from 2016 as well, from when he was running against him, saying that, you know, Donald Trump is a failure. Donald Trump is... I downloaded some clips, and I don't know that I want to even necessarily show them, but where he was calling him out for the basically slave labor he used, I think Polish immigrants that built his buildings that he paid $4 an hour to, right? All of his goods and services that he outsources and all of these things. He's calling him out for exactly who he was, and now he is cowed like a fucking dog.
Yeah, because he wants to be at the levers of power.
And Mr. President, like Mr. President said, what the fuck? What the fuck?
I'm not surprised by this in this.
And this, by the way,
slightest,
was
actually.
right before Hegseth came on and said this.
Spanish or in English? I think he's better in Spanish. I mean, it's great. Pete, please.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President, I only speak American.
Don't for 1 second think that Pete Hegseth doesn't know the difference between American and English. I see everyone's comments like, American isn't a language. He knows that. You think he doesn't know that?
Yeah.
He was saying that Marco Rubio isn't one of us. That's what he was saying. He was saying Marco Rubio isn't one of us. I don't give a shit if he looks in the mirror and sees one of us. But no matter what, no matter how you play this game and how much deference you show to the president, just remember, Mr. President, he's not one of us. I speak American.
Oh, snap. Trouble within the house. Trouble within the cabinet.
Because I'm American. I have the tattoo representing the Crusades on my chest. And I've got infidel written on my inner arm in Arabic so that the people I kill know what I was. A reminder to you all in the crowd, we don't give a fuck about you. I speak American. Marco Rubio, something happened to him. Something happened to him.
Oh.
Thank you for your bold leadership. It's an honor to be able to serve in your administration.
Thank you for your bold leadership. It's an honor to be able to serve in your administration.
So pathetic.
Have you ever heard any member of any administration when they're in front of a press pool
Frustrating himself so hard? No, I don't think I have. Maybe in Poland, actually. Maybe in Poland there was a level of that within the Law and Justice Party. Maybe there was part of it.
start their address of the press with thanking the president and for their bold leadership and saying that it's an honor to work under them. No, they just go and address the fucking press.
Yeah.
Why is there a daily recommitment to the Fuhrer? That's what this looks like. That's what it is. In 2019, he's saying
because otherwise you might get booted.
that no matter what happens for years to come, Everyone is going to have to explain how we got here, how this happened, how we let this happen. And here he is.
I am entertained by this.
So, it's like he's been castrated. Something chemically has happened to this man.
Although there is actually a narrative that Trump is so senile, so out of it, that Rubio is actually more in charge than Trump, and that just that basically Rubio dictates him what to do, as evidence of those little. There was this moment when he gave him a little note as to what to do, and Trump just, the senile old man that he is, read it aloud.
It's not the same person. And how are they all doing it?
There's a whole narrative that I've been hearing from people that Trump's just the senile old man, and the people around him just basically call the shots.
They are all addressing Mr. President. Pam Bondi in every one of her congressional hearings. What is she doing? And Donald Trump, Mr. Trump, and that's a lot more than Biden did. That's a lot more than Obama did. Like they're fucking like, yeah. It's coming from inside. You know, it's coming from deep within them.
The best president ever.
Nothing else to say. That's what explodes from them. Mr. Trump, Donald Trump is the best. Oh my God, he's the fucking best. It's insane.
Yeah.
This isn't normal. Something very weird is going on. It is not normal for Marco Rubio to have seen it so clearly since 2016 on. He was able to see it so clearly for 10 years, for 9 years. And then suddenly he gets appointed and it's like, whoosh, it's a different person.
I mean, that part is not surprising at all. He got into power. He wants to cling to that power, and to do it, he's willing to kiss Trump's ass. That's all that there is to it, in my opinion. That's all there is to it.
How embarrassing, how pathetic. He's a dog now, begging his master for approval.
Yeah, he's a dog, but he's also at the seat of power, so he probably sees it as a trade-off
at every
that he's willing
turn.
to.
He said that we don't have a dictatorship, but what is it when literally every branch, every arm is dependent on him? Will this please the master? Will this please the master? I can only answer this once I've spoken to the master. You ask him a question, well, like President Trump said, like, do you have an independent thought? Like President Trump said, it is an honor. It is an honor to serve under you, sir. It is an honor. I thought you were serving the American people. What the fuck are you talking about? Something's weird.
No, I don't think that's weird at all. I don't think it's all that weird. All right, let's look at your last link.
Time to talk about Iran. I'm gonna get the board. I'm nothing if not timely. I'm just gonna stretch it out for this one because, might hurt a little bit. Here we go. U.S. and Iran. I'm gonna break this up in time periods because I think going chronologically makes sense. But metaphorically, a little more difficult to understand. We're gonna start 1850 to 1953.
Damn, we're going back. This is a history lesson. All right, let's go.
1856.
I am a little bit of a historian.
With the Treaty of, wait for it, Friendship and Commerce.
Yeah, so basically Iran becoming an oil colony.
I can barely get through it without laughing. Now, in all fairness, the United States was just a baby country. They've been around for about 100 years, so maybe they actually meant the whole friendship and commerce thing. You think?
No.
It gets messy almost instantaneously. In the 1900s, Iran saw the United States as a disinterested third party.
What, all of its oil rights?
There to counterbalance British and Russian imperial endeavors. Is that hieroglyphics that I wrote Russian in? I'm not too sure. I forgot to press record with the really witty thing that I was saying while I erased it. I apologize. Next era, 1953 to 1979. Ooh, this is gonna be a doozy. 1953, there was a coup.
Uh-oh.
I'll give you two guesses to who was running it, and the first one doesn't count.
The United States.
If you said the US CIA and the UK organized a coup, you would be exactly right. But tell me why.
Oil.
Because the democratically elected prime minister, Mossadegh, I had to pause to spell it properly, had the audacity
To decide that oil belongs to Iran?
you guessed it, to nationalize
Oil.
oil. Well, it was Iranian oil, but you know, the US and the United Kingdom hate it when they do that. And the US would back the Shah of Iran, put him into power, where he would rule for the next 25 years. Of course it was authoritarian rule. What other kind of rule would it be? Now in 1957, Eisenhower would create something called the Atoms for Peace. And it's under this program that they get their first nuclear reactor. And nuclear material. P.S. Everybody makes fun of the way I say nuclear. Do I say nuclear? Nuclear? I don't know how I say it, but you understand what I mean, right? I wonder if kicking out a democratically elected leader, installing an authoritarian Shah, and then giving nuclear material to that authoritarian government is ever going to be a problem in the future.
Nah.
I understand that hindsight is 20/20, but does foresight have to be blind, deaf, and dumb all at the same time? I'll tell you what it got them. It got them revolution. 1979 to 2000. 1979 was the Islamic Revolution that brought into power, swept into power, the Ayatollah Khomeini. You have to understand, the Shah brought with it huge economic reform and prosperity under a very, very heavy hand of authoritarian dictatorship,
right,
which was primarily serving the interests of the United States. So support of the Ayatollah, and as they swept him into power, was a reaction of feeling like a puppet of the United States. Hint, this doesn't go well. During this revolution, the Shah of Iran is swept out of the country and taken to the United States and protected there, which leads to a hostage situation, a crisis at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. And in this crisis, 52 Americans were held for 444 days.
Uh-oh.
Shout out to Canada. Has anyone seen Argo? We fixed this. You think this would be the worst of it, but you ain't seen nothing yet, guys. The U.S. then stepped into the Iran-Contra affair. What was Reagan's nickname again? Oh, right, the Teflon president. So keep up, because this gets confusing. So in the 1980s, you have the Iran-Iraq war. And who is the United States supporting? Iraq. So they're sending weapons and they're selling military equipment to Iraq. But at the same time, the US is selling arms
Oh boy.
to Iran. You heard that right? To help fund and support the Nicaraguan rebels in order to topple that government. There's a lot of multitasking going on here, but don't worry, they're making so much money off arms deals. I know I said that wrong. Nicaragua. I knew I'd get it. Let's skip to 9/11, shall we?
Yeah.
Because after 9/11, Iran actually secretly helps find the Taliban with the US. They're on the US's team at this point to hunt and destroy the Taliban that caused 9/11. However, in 2002, President Bush labels them one of the axes of evil that they are now going to have to combat after this terrorist attack, which they had nothing to do with, and they helped actually fight them after the encounter happened. So many backroom deals, my head's starting to hurt. I'll try to catch you up till now, but I'm not sure if I can get us all the way there. 2015, you have Obama stepping into the fray, and he tries to create a joint comprehensive plan for action in which Iran can have a limited nuclear program in order to create nuclear energy while lifting sanctions and ensuring they're not actually building a nuclear weapon. And then, in 2018, Trump takes office, well, he was already in office, and he withdraws from everything Obama did, withdrawing from the nuclear program, withdrawing from lifting economic sanctions, and goes full tilt with sanctions in order to force Iran from developing any nuclear program whatsoever. This all leads to a second Trump in office. Do you understand what happens? Because my head is spinning. All I can think about is they give, they take away, they give, they take away, and they're going to cause another revolution that we're going to live through. I wonder if we're going to do anything about it if we don't get any oil this time.
Oh God. That was amazing, wasn't it? That was great. Listen, it is what it is, isn't it? God, that was nice. That was nice. That was very educational, wasn't it? I like history. I'm a bit of a historian myself. My goodness. All right. We've done some politics. I got some nice segments. Thank you, Vladimir. Thank you for that. All right. Thank you. That was very great. So I will see you all tomorrow. I have some work to do. I have tons of work to do, actually. I hope you enjoyed. I will do some announcements for tomorrow because I feel like people have to be. There's a lot There's a lot of things happening, and maybe more people will come if they know what's happening. Okay, see you. Bye bye.